Well, gentlemen, we're here today to look at this old school gray label Carl built Xforce. Back when. I think this is a 10 pill. And I have no idea what the inside of it looks like. So we're gonna have to pull the lid and take a look on the inside and see what fur. And what I mean by what fur is what the fur is going on. Ah! Hold on, y'all. My tripod decided it needed to take my microphone away from me. All right. See what we got going on the inside. See if we got to do anything to this. Oh my God, I don't have to shit. For the most part. I'm gonna upgrade the power wires and put a bus wire between the two. Sweet. Nothing's burned up. It's a 10 pill built in a 10 pill way. White Cloud or whoever put this together right. Looks good. Come join me. It's clean. Like really clean. Like super clean. Oh yeah, and this is back before Xforce got cheap. I mean, Arland. Heatsink goes out to here, heatsink goes out to here. Oh, wow. But this box is gonna run like mashed potatoes. You run good. All matched lot numbers. Sweet. Well, let's upgrade these. And let's give it a what fur and see how well it works. So we did our little power wire upgrades, and the other thing that we did is we added this for safety. As we come in and we add these, there's a rod that we soldered in that goes across the two power strips here, and another one up here in the front. So let's just say that maybe there's a guy out there that's going to run his amplifier all the time based like this, right? Just saying. And this is the way he's got it hooked up in his truck. The only reason I bring this up is because this has happened to me once, actually twice. And one of these wires decides it's going to work its way out from underneath this eyelet. For testing purposes, this is okay. For actual real world use, no. If one wire works its way out, and then maybe its little partner wire works its way out, what can happen over here is if it's this wire and this wire that decide they're going to come loose, this whole 4-pill section of this amplifier dies. It's got no 12 volt. And this is over here flopping away in the wind. And that causes the whole rest of the amplifier to be in balance. And that's because there's two separate distribution bars in here. One for this side of the amp and one for that side of the amp. Now what happens on the outside if the wires come separated? Half the amp quits working. I had a friend of mine with a Texas Star 1600, Sweet 16, that he had 4 strands of wire coming out of the back and 2 of them come undone. Guess what? The smoke come out. I say again, the smoke, it came out of amp. So we want to avoid that. So we just simply add these 2 bars in here. It's something that Xforce also recognized that there was a problem because later on down the road they started adding these. Okay. The other thing is I got rid of the unwound slinky in here that was for the inductor input tune and replaced it with an actual real coil and tapped it appropriately, and we got our input swerves down to where they were really acceptable. So yeah, I think it's time that we put a little bit of drive into it and make it do something. Okay. So what we've got hooked up is the SR490, which is, I'm gonna make sure the amp is off, which is the bench 490 up here, this guy. This is the one that I've modified a lot. And this box really wants to make watts. Let me bring you in on something. My very first like big pill amplifier was an Xforce, gray label like this. It was a 24 pill cabinet and it had 16 transistors in it. Okay, and that amplifier, looking at it and looking how simplistically it was put together, I was like, I can make this, I can build this, right? And that's what got me started. So then that 16 turned into 24, and 24 eventually turned into a 32, and then the 24 went back to a 24, and then, which you guys all watched the other day when it was here. It's like the third cabinet that amp's been in. Anyhow, this thing here wants to make watts. It's got the magic shmoo to it. I don't know what to tell you, but we're going to take the SR490. We're going to put about 200 watts into this box. Let's go over here and take a look at this. 1, 2, 1, 2. With 200 watts of drive. Remember, we're on the 1,000 watt scale. Of course, we're going to bury it in a corner, right? So we'll go up to 2x. About 1,900 watts with 200 watts of drive. It gets with it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 200 watts of drive. We're going to go up here. 200 watts of drive. This is our input reflag. 1, 1, 1, 1. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. So we got a good input tune. That's what I'm getting at. So now what we're going to do is we're going to step this up a little bit. We're going to turn this off. Take the 490 out of play. So now you know what happens when you take your 200 watt radio and run it into this thing. I think you guys can figure out where I'm going with this. Then we'll take this coax, we'll plug it in here. We've got our bench 2 pill in play. Okay? Okay. So take the 490 mic, hang it back up in the rack, turn it off. We're going to take our 2950 and we're going to drive it into the bench 2 pill. So let's put this back down on 1x. So 2950, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's our 28 watts worth of drive. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Makes about 400 and some watts. Peak, okay? You really don't want to drive this box much harder than that. You really don't. You really, really don't. We're going to take and go straight down to 5x. We'll grab the slinky coil that I pulled out of here as my pointing tool now. So 5x, that's 1,000, it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 watts. I had one of these I rebuilt for my business partner, a 10 pill like this. And it ran like, that was the most awesome box. I took it completely apart and rebuilt it and added it because it was all messed up on the inside, but it run, right? So now, with our 400 watts of drive, hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. 190 amps. Hello. Roughly 1,000 bird. Impressive, right? I think so. I mean, it's doing exactly almost the same amount as the friggin' 12 pill or whatever it was I worked on yesterday. So, something to be said, right? So 3,100, 3,200 watts peak with 400 watts worth of drive. And the inside of this thing is pretty. I mean, that's pretty. It's pretty. It's got a standard Xforce exterior cabinet to it. The exterior of the cabinet is probably a 9 out of 10, 10 being it looked like it was brand new. This is an older box, so of course the brushed, uncoated, uncleared aluminum is going to have a little bit of dirt to it. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. But it's the insides that count. It's the parts that count. So this particular gem, this beautiful girl, I think we're going to ask $21 billion. No, I'm just kidding. I think we're going to ask right around $2,000 for this, somewhere in there. $2,100 or best offer. So it's like I said in the last video and all the other videos that have come before this. I mean, if you guys need to get a hold of me, that's the phone number. So you can call me and say, "Ooh, I'd love to have that. Oh, I'd like to have." Cool. No problem. 21 plus the ride or best offer. If you, I mean, you cook up a realistic offer that isn't way over the top absurd, we'll probably take it. Let's put the lid on this thing and let's put some air on it and let's run it with the lid on real quick and then we'll wrap this up. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Too much mic gain, too close to the boxes. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's better. I'm telling you, there's something a little special about this box. It really wants to get up and go. Really does. Well, if you're interested and you want yourself a Toshiba based 10 pill that's going to run and run and run for the rest of time, this is your girl. Give me a call. We'll work out a deal and we'll get it sent your way. All right, gentlemen, on that note, I got to run. I got a couple more of these I got to go through, like 8. So on to the next one. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And like I said, thank God for the Patreons. They're the reasons that we got to sit here this entire time without a single ad being shoved up in your face. And if you're interested in joining us, come check us out on Patreon and make sure to add your handle to the handles and call sign list. That way I can add you to the thank you reel at the end of every single video. Big shout out to Penta XS. Penta is giving a 5% discount right now with, if you just call and mention my name, they'll give you 5% off. Or it should be available on the shopping cart, I think, at this point. When you go to checkout, enter the promo code BBI, they'll give you 10 or 5%. And all YouTube videos from this point forward are going to be subtitled in Spanish. So if you're not the greatest English speaker, engage the comments and you'll be able to follow along. On that note, I want to say, gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm on to the next one. I'll see you. Click, click.